So in the last class, we had completed two poems of William Shakespeare, and yes, so we have completed selection from Gray's Elegy, Thomas Gray, and we have started with daffodils. And yesterday we discussed about Ulysses. So let me move on to the prose. So in prose, we were discussing about Lady's Address in the last class. So we'll try to complete off with the next part of the. So that is Dr. Edgar's experiment. So Dr. Edgar's experiment will continue with the Dr. Edgar's experiment. Okay, so we'll start with the Dr. Edgar's experiment. So Nathaniel Hawthorne is an American novelist and short story writer. His most well-known novel is The Scarlet Letter. The short story Dr. Edgar's Experiment, which you are reading now, is chosen from Twice Told Tales. In this story, Hawthorne has exposed human weakness like greed, avarice, and lust. Hawthorne was a Puritan, that's a person strict in moral matters. The Christian Okay, Sachin. The Christian concepts of temptation, fall, and redemption are his chief preoccupations. Yes, Dr. Edgar's experiment. Good evening, Jennifer. Dr. Edgar was a singular man who had three friends, that is Mr. Medbourne, Colonel Killigrew, and Mrs. Gascoigne. So these are the three characters you are supposed to remember. It's on page number 97, 96 and 97. Okay. So Edgar was a singular man who had three friends, that is Mr. Medbourne, Colonel Killigrew, and Mrs. Gascoigne. So Widow Wycherley was a withered gentlewoman. Dr. Edgar and all the three friends knew her well. All were unfortunate in one way or the other in the life. They were all old. Mr. Medbourne was a prosperous merchant who had but lost all his money. So Mr. Medbourne is a merchant. So you can make it a note of it. Colonel Killigrew had lost his health in the pursuit of sinful pleasures. So Colonel Killigrew had he does not have good health. Mr. Gascoigne was ruined politician. Mr. Gascoigne is a ruined politician. Widow Wycherley lead a scheduled life because people did not deem her to be a decent woman. She was beautiful during her youthful days. Interestingly, all three men were early lovers of this woman and had even quarreled with each other to the extent of cutting each other's throat. See, the story is basically among women, that is Widow Wycherley. Widow Wycherley uh, had three lovers, that is Mr. Medbourne, Colonel Killigrew, and Mr. Gascoigne. So this is regarding Dr. Edgar had experimented and he had known the youth fountain. He wanted to transform the old people to youth. He had done
and he was doing. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಡ್ಗರ್ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿರುವಂತವರಿಗೆ ಯವನ ಬರೆಸುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಲೋಹನ ತಯಾರಿಸಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಲೋಹದಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಾವು ಇವ್ರು ಮೂರು ಜನ ಮೆಡ್ಬೋರ್ನ್, ಕೊಲೊನಿಯಲ್ ಕಿಲಿಗ್ರೋ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ಕಾಯ್ನ್, ಇವ್ರು ಮೂರು ಜನನು ಅದು ನಮಗ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆಸೆ ಪಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿಡಲ್ ವಿಚ್ಲೋರಿ ಜೊತೆ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ. Dr. Edgar once invited all the four of them to his house because he wanted to try one of his experiment on them. So Dr. Edgar 4 ಜನನ್ನು ಇನ್ವೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So to experiment on them. All of them sat around a table on which there was a vase and that was shining due to the rays of the sun falling on it. Dr. Edgar explained about his experiment and said that the liquid which was kept in the vase was called the fountain of youth drinking. As I said, Dr. Edgar has given them the information about ಫೌಂಟೇನ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂತ್ ಡ್ರಿಂಕಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಲೋಹನ ಕುಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಯುವಕರಾಗ್ತಾರೆ, ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿರೋರು ಯುವಕರಾಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಇವ್ರು 3 ಜನದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಯೋಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ದೇ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಶೋ ಎನಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ದೇ ವರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟ್ರೂತ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಲೇಮ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಒಪ್ಪಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ವೈಸ್ ಇವ್ರು 3 ಜನನು ಒಪ್ಪಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಿಜ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಯಾರು ಅದನ್ನ ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಹಿಂಜರಿತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಎಡ್ಗರ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಒಂದು ಗುಲಾಬಿ ಹೂವು, ಒಣಗೋಗಿರೋ ಗುಲಾಬಿ ಹೂವಿಗೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಫೌಂಟೇನ್ ಯೂತ್ ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಆ ಹೂವು ಹರಳೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಕ್ಷಣ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಆಗಿ ಓಕೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಎಸ್ ಸಚಿನ್, ಆರ್ ಯು ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮೀ ನೌ? ಸಚಿನ್, ಜೆನಿಫರ್, ರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ, I am audible to you? Okay. Yes. So Dr. Edgar had tried this experiment on a withered rose flower and transformed it into a fresh flower by dipping it in that water. All were wonderstruck. The rose of half a century looks as fresh. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಳೆಯ ಶತಮಾನದ ಹೂವು ತರ ಇದ್ದಂತ ಒಣಗೋಗಿರುವಂತ ಹೂವು ಈಗ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಹರಳಿರೋ ಹೂ ತರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಈಗ 3 ಜನ ನನಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೀಮ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಅ ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಕ್ to them. The guests asked him to tell them more about the magical water. Dr. Edgar said that the Fountain of Youth is situated in the southern part of Floridian Peninsula. ಸೊ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಡ್ಗರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುವಂತ ಒಂದು ನೀರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಸದರ್ನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಫ್ಲೋರಿಡಿಯಾ ಪೆನಿನ್ಸುಲಾ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗದಿಂದ ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿರೋದು, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಫೌಂಟೇನ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂತ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದ ವರ್ಚ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ವರ್ ಕೆಪ್ಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಫ್ರೆಶ್. ಸೊ youthful days, yes. So due to the virtues of water, all the trees and plants around were kept very fresh. So all the trees look very fresh. One of the guests asked Dr. Edgar what may be the effect of this fluid on human dream. So he says that okay, you have given an opportunity to the flower, but what about on human beings? He questions them. Dr. Edgar told them try it themselves and asked them to exempt him from trying because he was not interested in becoming youth again. So one of the guests says that ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ನಂಬೋದು ಇದನ್ನ, ಮನುಷ್ಯರ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರುತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ, ಸರಿ ನೀವೇ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡಿ ನೋಡೋರಂತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಹೆಂಗಾಗ್ಬೇಕನ್ನೋ ಆಸೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ಗೆ ವಯಸ್ಸಾಗಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ he does not agree for that. Moreover, he wanted to watch them. All the guests drank the fountain of youth. There came a kind of color to their cheeks. They brought that some magic power that really began. They said, give us more of this wondrous water. We are younger, but we are old, too old. Quick, give us more. So they wanted to get the ವಾಟರ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸೊ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಫೌಂಟೇನ್ ಯೂತ್ ವಾಟರ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಎಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಯಂಗರ್, ಸೊ ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಸೊ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದೇರ್ ಗ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ವರ್ ರೀಫಿಲ್ಡ್. ದ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸಚ್ ದಟ್ ಕೊಲೋನಿಯಲ್ ಕಿಲಿಗ್ರೋವ್ told the widow, my dear widow, you are charming. The 3 gentlemen behaved in such a manner and proved that the water of fountain of youth possessed from intoxicating qualities. They felt as if there was a sudden removal of the weights of years. The widow looked at herself in the mirror and came with a sort of dancing step to the table feeling very young. So he is saying that yes, there were early lovers, but they were in the present also they were loving each other. So 3 of them were loving. Yes. So after that the widow tries this ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದಟ್ ಕೊಲೋನಿಯಲ್ ಕಿಲಿಗ್ರೋ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ದಟ್ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಒಂದು ಅಪಾಯಕಾರಿಯಾದ ಒಂದು ಅಂಶ ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ಇದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಇರೋ ವಯಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಕಳ್ಕೊಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೆದರಿಸಿದ್ರು. ಆದರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ವಿಡೋ ವಿಚ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಯಂಗಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದಂಥವ್ರು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವರ್ತ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ದೇ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್. The three men quarreled with each other to have the widow as their partner. ಸೊ ಈ ಮೂರು ಜನನು ಕಿತ್ತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನನಗ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ದೇ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ಡ್ ಹರ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಶಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಫ್ರೀ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ their grasp. ಸೊ ದೇ ವೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಫಿಸಿಕಲಿ the attack, or all the three men attacked her. It became serious. They grappled fiercely at one another's throat as they struggled to and fro. ಸೊ ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಗಳ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಗಂಟ್ಲು ಪರ್ಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹೀಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದ ಟೇಬಲ್ ವಾಸ್ ಓವರ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ವಾಸ್ ಡ್ಯಾಶ್ಡ್ ಇಂಟು 1,000 ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ದ ಪ್ರೇಷಿಯಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂತ್ ಫ್ಲೋಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಬ್ರೈಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ದ ಫ್ಲೋರ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಗಲಾಟೆನಲ್ಲಿ, ಈ ಗೊಂದಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೇಲಿದ್ದಂಥ ವಾಸಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಂಥ ಪ್ರೇಷಿಯಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂತ್ ಫ್ಲೋಡ್ ಡೌನ್. ಸೊ ಅದು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಚೆಲ್ಲೋಗುತ್ತೆ. Dr. Edgars, looking at them, said, I really must protest against this riot. He sat in a chair, having rescued the rose, which was now turned dry as before. The guests were confused when they looked at each other. Was it an illusion? Have they come back to their old age again? The delirium which it created had effervesced away. 98 page number. Arshita, it is 98 page number. Okay, so ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ಗಲಾಟೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ನೀರು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಚೆಲ್ಲೋಗುತ್ತೋ, ಸೊ ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಅರಳಿದಂಥ ಹೂವು ಒಣಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದಂಥ ಯೌವನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಳಿಸೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ವಯಸ್ಸಾದವ್ರ ಥರನೇ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಡ್ಗರ್ ಅವಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದ ಎಡ್ಗರ್ ಸೆಡ್ ದಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್. ದ ವಾಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂತ್ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಲ್ಯಾವಿಶ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಗ್ರೋಡ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು ತಂದಿದಂಥ ಯೂತ್ ಫೌಂಟೇನ್ ವಾಟರು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಚೆಲ್ಲೋಯ್ತು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಡ್ಗರ್ ಸೆಡ್, ಐ ಬಿಯಾನ್ ಇಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇಟ್, for if the fountain gushed at my every doorstep, I would not stoop to bathe my lips into it, though its delirium were for years instead of moments. Such is the lesson he have taught me. But the guests had not learnt any lesson. They resolved forthwith to make a pilgrimage to Florida and quaff at morning, noon, night from the fountain of youth. ಸೊ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಡ್ಗರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಚೆಲ್ಲೋಗಿದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆ ಕಳೆದೋಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದರ ಒಂದು ವೈಶಿಷ್ಟ್ಯತೆ ಕಳೆದೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಎಡ್ಗರು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Apart from this story, there is a detailed description of Dr. Edgar's study. The author starts describing Dr. Edgar's study by saying, if all stories were true, Dr. Edgar's study must have been very curious place. Hawthorne says that the study was an old chamber, dim, decorated with cobwebs, and old dust settled on the articles found there. This gives an irking feeling. There were wooden bookcases with huge books. So this happens and everyone. Yes, it has been floored on the floor, and it has become bright. The way the doorsteps has been um, bathed, and there was no such thing here. In by this they learn a lesson is that they should not think about it. So as a part of it, it became a place there. ಸೊ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಚೆಲ್ಲೋಗಿದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸೇ ಆಗೋಯ್ತದು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದೇ ಕುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಇಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ವೇ. It's said that Dr. Edgar always considered the bust of Hippocrates in all difficult cases he would come across. In one corner of the room there was another wooden closet, the door of which was kept wide open, inside which there was a skeleton. This also adds to the eric atmosphere. There was a mirror hung between two bookcases. There was a story abound with this mirror that the spirits of all the doctor's deceased patients dwelt within its verge and would stare him in the face whenever he looked withered. There was a full-length portrait of a young lady. She was arrayed in her faded magnificence of silk, satin, and brocade, with the visage as faded as her dress. About 50 years ago, Dr. Edgars wanted to marry her, but then she had committed suicide on the bridal evening. Another curious aspect of Dr. Edgar's study was a huge black leather book with massive silver clasps. No one could tell the title of it as there were no letters found on either side of the book. It was well known to be a book of magic, and once a chambermaid lifted it merely to brush away the dust, the skeleton had rattled in its clothes. The picture of the young lady had stepped 1 foot upon the floor, and several ghastly faces had peeped forth from the mirror, while the brazen head of Hippocrates frowned and said, "Forbear." This was Edgar's study. Okay, the place which they had been misled as a fountain water has been flowed. That place may be changed now to pilgrimage. So, looking at all this behavior, wait, Rajeshwari, the fountain of youth, even if the gushes at his doorstep, and even it is the delirium is going to be yours. This is the lesson taught by the guest to Dr. Edgars. So all the people were thinking about what is going to happen after this incident. ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗನ ಒಂದು ಪವಿತ್ರವಾದ ಸ್ಥಳ ಆಗಿ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. And it's very important them to understand how anything we get we should utilize in a right manner. We should not go beyond that. ಸೊ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸರಿಯಾದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಅತಿರೇಕಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡೋದ್ರೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಕಿತ್ತಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಈಗ 4 ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋ ಥರ ಆಯಿತು. ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಎಡ್ಗರ್ಸ್ ಈ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so any doubts regarding this Edgar's experiment? One thing I can tell you that from poetry side, you should concentrate on Unit 1 and Unit 3 and Unit 4. So you have uh, 4 units. Out of 4, you are supposed to prepare. Those who want to score only 40 marks for the passing marks, they only concentrate on 2 units. Those who want to concentrate on all to get the maximum marks are 60, so they should concentrate on 3 units. So because you'll be having choice. Okay, regarding pros also we should be aware of. See, 2 short stories and 2 essays you should concentrate. You should. Off studies is very important. Please try to learn about off studies. It's very easy. When you once go through the text, you'll get to know. It's very easy. Okay. Ladies address also, it's very easy. You can answer it. The necklace, Dr. Edgar's experiment. So these are very important. And ladies address, we have discussed in the class yesterday. So any more doubts regarding anything, you can ask me. Any doubts? Okay, if you don't have any doubts, we'll go on with Have I completed Ulysses for you? Ulysses? Anybody in the class? Have we have discussed about Ulysses? Ulysses was the king of Ithaca. I think we have discussed it. Okay, what about upon Westminster Bridge? Okay, if you don't have any doubts, you can ask me what to go on with it. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, so if you want anything to be asked, you can ask. So what to continue, Rajeshwari? Dr. Edgar's experiment has completed. So if you have any doubts, you can tell me. I'll concentrate on your doubts. Okay, no doubt, Taslima. Okay, you can prepare for your exam. If you find any difficulty after reading, you can contact me. Please try to contact block 3 and 4. Geeta, block 3 and 4 consist of what? I don't have block type materials with me. I don't know about it, Arshita. I don't know about the examination. About the guide. Somebody said yesterday guide is not there. They said Gulliver Travels and guides are not there. Only 4 prose and 4 poems, they said. Yesterday I was to start with the guide. Somebody said that no, guide is not there and Gulliver Travels I had started. But somebody said no, Gulliver's Travel and guide are not there in our syllabus. Please check it. If you want, I'll tell you the story of guide. Um, Sangeeta, as I told, first 3 poems, that is Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 4 are very important. Sorry, Unit 1, Unit 3, and Unit 4 are important. Block 3 fiction, okay, but they said that it won't be for the examination. Guide and Gulliver Travels will be not for the examination. Somebody told from your class yesterday. I had started with Gulliver Travels yesterday. Somebody said no, only 4 poems and 4 prose. Make sure that they have given B. So B, it's not there. Gulliver's not important. Okay, Gulliver's not important. I'm not saying that it's not important. So in syllabus, it's not there. Somebody said. I don't know exactly what is your syllabus. Unit 11 guide is there. Why they have misled? Then I have not yet completed for BBA students also. They said no. Yesterday I had started with unit second. Again we want unit 6. Which unit 6? If you put the name of the text, it's well and good. Unit 6. That is ladies address. Sachin, you want ladies address? Okay. So Guide is this novel written by R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan is an Indian writer I'll tell you the story of guide, so you can keep it in mind. Yes, I'm telling Bhavana. So we have three characters, very important. Three characters are Raju, Rosie, and Marco. So Raju, Unit 8B, that's what they said they won't be having. 8B ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯೂನಿಟ್ 9 ಇದೆಯಾ? Okay, I'll tell you the story of guide. See, Raju was so another very important character is Velan. R.K. Narayan usually depicts the town that is Malgudi. I don't know, Jennifer. Yesterday they misled me. I had started with Gulliver's Travel and they stopped me that it's not there in our syllabus. Somebody, I don't know who is that. From your class only. Yesterday I started with Gulliver Travels. I thought of today we complete of guide. So that's why I started with Gulliver's Travel and somebody said no. So I stopped. I think Kavita or somebody who is, I don't know, who were there in the class yesterday. Okay, I'll tell you the story of the guide. Raju, Rosie, Marco, and Velan are the very important characters. So Raju was a railway guide. Why we got the title as guide? Because he was Jennifer. Are you getting my point? Is there means what to do now? I started with the guide, and you are distracting me not to continue the class. If it's there, prepare by yourself. That's it. Why we should think about it? Okay, I am let to start with the guide. Raju as a railway guide, Raju worked his way as a guide to the tourists, with the tourists asking various questions like how far is you or which way does one go to. So Raju ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಸ್ಟೇಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಟೂರಿಸ್ಟ್ ಗೈಡ್ ಆಗಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ರಾಜು ಒಂದು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿನ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರೋಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೋ. ಸೊ ರೋಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೋ ವರ್ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೈಫ್. ರೋಸಿ Rosie's husband Marco was interested in archaeology, and he was very much fond of the architecture of the old buildings, how it has been built, and that should be known to him. So he came to that place, Malgudi, to know about the architecture and archaeological resource of Malgudi. So at that time, Raju was in contact with Rosie. So they had a good relationship, they were friends. Once what happens is that when Raju gets to know, when Raju takes Rosie to a snake okay, yes. So when Raju takes her to snake chamber, then they gets to know about the um, she was very much fond of dancing. So then he says her to continue the dancing, but Marco was always thinking about that she should not dance. So um, ರಾಜುಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ರೋಸಿ ಒಬ್ಳು ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಅಂತ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೋ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿ ಅವಳಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ರಾಜು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಶಿ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸಸ್. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಹಾವಾಡಿಗನ ಜೊತೆ ಅವಳು ಹಾವಾಡಿಗ ಪುಂಗಿ ಊದುವಾಗ ಅವಳು ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾಳೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ರಾಜುಗೆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವೊಬ್ರು ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ನ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೋಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ದೇ ವ್ಯಾರ್ ಇನ್ ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಅಂತ, ದೇ ವ್ಯಾರ್ ಲವಿಂಗ್ ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಮಾರ್ಕೋ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಗೋಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಮಾರ್ಕೋ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೊರ್ಟೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ರಾಜು ರೋಸಿನ ತನ್ನ ಮನೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ತನ್ನ ತಾಯಿ ರೋಸಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾನಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ವಿರೋಧ ಪಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ರೋಸಿ ಮನೇಲೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ರಾಜು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ರಾಜು ಅಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೊರ್ಟೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವರಿಬ್ರು ಗಂಡ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಥರನೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ದೇ ಗೆಟ್ಸ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಬೈ ಮಾರ್ಕೋ. ಸೊ ಮಾರ್ಕೋ ಇಂದ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಲೆಟ್ರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಜ್ಯುವೆಲ್ಸ್ನ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಆ ಜ್ಯುವೆಲ್ಸ್ನ ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆ ಲೆಟರ್ಗೆ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದರೆ ರಾಜು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ರೋಸಿಗೆ ಆ ವಿಷಯನ ತಿಳಿಸ್ದೆ ತಾನೇ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫೋರ್ಜರಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸಾರಿ, ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಯು ದ ಪೇಜ್ ನಂಬರ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್. Okay, so afterwards they goes on asking each other about all those things. Then Marco gets to know that it has been forgery by Raju. Then he claims a complaint. ಸೊ ಮಾರ್ಕೋಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಫೋರ್ಜರಿ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು, ರಾಜು ಫೋರ್ಜರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ. ಅವನ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವನು ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ರೋಸಿ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವನನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಳೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೂ ಒಂದೊಂದು 2 ವರ್ಷ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಜೈಲಿಂದ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ರಾಜು ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ರೋಸಿನ ಅವನು ಹೆಸರನ್ನ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಏನಂತ ಅಂದರೆ ನಳಿನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ನಳಿನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವಳ ಹೆಸರನ್ನ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ಅವರ ಒಂದು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವನು ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ ಅವಧಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಬಂದಮೇಲೆ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಜನರು ಅವನ ಹೇಳುವ ಮಾತು ಅಥವಾ ಅವನು ಒಂದು ಸರಾಯು ನದಿಯ ದಂಡೆನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ನದಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವನು ಜಪ ತಪ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಮಾಲ್ಗುಡಿಗೆ ಮಳೆ ಬರುತ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೌದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಧಾರಾಕಾರವಾಗಿ ಮಳೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ರಾಜು ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಗೈಡ್, ರಾಜು ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ರಾಜು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಗೈಡ್ to Swami, and there are many important things you should read into the textbook. So then people started thinking that that Raju has become a sannyasi. So he is penanceing for the sake of ಮಾಲ್ಗುಡಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ತಪಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ರಾಜು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದು ಪ್ರಚಲಿತವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ದ ಗೈಡ್. ಸೊ ಗೈಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದವನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಲವರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಲವರ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಈ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೋರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. Okay, anything to be asked regarding guide you can ask, but you should make a note of it. There are other characters. So there are other minor characters. Valan is there. You should read the text, that's it. Because we don't have time to analyze it. Yesterday I told them that there is guide and I had started with it. Somebody misled me. So you can look into page number 145. There is Raju, light of wisdom, the famine, Raju the Swami, in fighting the village, Valan's brother, Semi-Moron, the turning point, the Mahatma, the villagers forget the fight, Raju and the Bonda, Raju the real Mahatma, Valan's prophecy, and Raju a savior. So all these things, yes. No money character, I think you won't get. That is Swami and friends, that is different. This is different. Okay. Yes, you should study the textbook, then you'll understand. Marco and Raju, Raju's suspicion, Rosie and the dance. Everything is there. You should look into it. Okay. So change of name, that is very important. Nalini. So Rosie name has been changed to Nalini. Why why Marco was opposing Rosie not to dance is that she belonged to Devadasi family. So for that purpose, he does not want her to dance. Her mother was a Devadasi, so she does not want to dance. So that for that purpose, he goes against dancing. If you read the story, you'll get very interesting story and very you'll love the story, how it starts and how it ends. There is past and present. Yes, the conversation of present and past conversation is there. So you should understand while reading the text. If anything to be asked. You could they could have given like characters. We could have gone through the importance of characters, but in the text I think they have not given about characters. You should make a note of the characters and you should prepare by yourself. Hmm? After all, he is my husband. There is some information about it. So for the grammar, see, comprehension is nothing but a passage. Uh, Comprehension is regarding a passage. You will be having questions under it. You are supposed to answer the questions by reading into the passage. It's very easy. Comprehensive passage is very easy. Okay, idioms. Idioms is also same as it is. Um, there will be some words what we are going to use. We say all and sundry, and we say that. Uh, it looks like fishy. It looks like fishy ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಡೌಟ್ಫುಲ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಇಡಿಯಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಡಿಯಮ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಸರ್ಟನ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ you'll get to know which are the words. I'll go through the words and I'll tell you which are the words is very important as idioms. Before that, let me tell you about antonyms and synonyms. Antonyms is opposite of a word and synonym is the meaning of a word. Antonyms ಅಂದ್ರೆ opposite ವಿರುದ್ಧಾರ್ಥಕ ಪದ. Synonyms ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಮಾನಾರ್ಥಕ ಪದ. So keep in mind. I am not getting idioms where it is. It's not clear. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೋ ಹುಡುಕ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ. Idioms 227. Bag and baggage. Bag and baggage. He has left Agra. Bag and baggage. Bag and baggage andre luggage. Bag and baggage. Baggages, we won't call it. Baggage is the plural form of bag. Okay, bread and butter, body and soul. Synonym, essential meaning. Okay, bread and butter, body and soul. Beck and call. Beck and call, it's very important. Fair and foul, it's also very important. By hook or cook, ಮಾಡು ಅಥವಾ ಮಡಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಪದನ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಬೈ ಹುಕ್ ಆರ್ ಕುಕ್ ಅಂತ. ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೋಲ್, ಕಿತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಿನ್. ಕಿತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಿನ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್. leaps and bounds, life and soul, milk and water, nook and corner, odds and ends, past and parcel, part and parcel. Okay. Time and tide never stops ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. waits for none ಅಂತ. yes, it's very important. time and tide ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಮಯ ಮತ್ತು ಅಲೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕಾಯೋಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ups and downs, this is very familiar. again and again, by and by, far and wide. Okay. now and then, over and above. So these are all idiomatic adjectives. Yes, heart and soul. You can look into page number 1 to 38. You will get to know how the idioms have been used. 237 and 238. Get the meanings of all. It is a dictionary. You will get the meanings of idiomatic words. And very important is active and passive voice. Active and passive voice, you should remember. Let me tell you a sentence. Cow gives milk. Yes, milk and honest. Yes, correct. Cow gives milk. I am giving a general introduction for it. Active and passive voice ge. Cow gives milk ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So what you are supposed to do is that, see, divide the subject into 3 parts. Cow gives milk. Okay, have you written? So divide the sentence into 3 parts. That is, cow gives milk. ಇವು ಮೂರನ್ನು 3 parts ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಒಂದು ಸ್ಲಾಶ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಮೊದಲಿರುವಂತದ್ದು, ಸೊ ಎಸ್, ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೇಸಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೇಸಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವರ್ಬ್. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ತರಬೇಕು, ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ತರಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮಿಲ್ಕ್. cow is singular, he is given by cow. So every time passive voice should end with by or start with by. ಪ್ಯಾಸಿವ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ತರ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಐದರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಬೈ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಎಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೈ ಇರಬೇಕು. Okay, so did you get my point? So this is regarding active and passive voice. Active and passive voice ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ ತರಬೇಕು, ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೇಸ್ ತರಬೇಕು. ಅಂಡ್ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಅದು ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗಿವನ್, ಟೇಕನ್, ರಿಟರ್ನ್, ಬೈ, ಇದೇ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಬೇಕು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್. I think how many of you got it? I don't know. Do you have any doubts? So somewhere you can write what we call it as B form. B form ಅಂತ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. is, are, was, were, and am. Okay, is singular and present tense. Are is plural and past tense. Was is past tense. Okay, were is past plural, and am is I ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ am ಜೊತೆನೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್. ಈ ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಒಂದು ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪ್ಯಾಸಿವ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಈಸ್ ಸಿಂಗ್ಯುಲರ್, ಆರ್ ಪ್ಲೂರಲ್, ವಾಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆನ್ಸ್, ವರ್ past plural, am I. Okay, any doubts? In book block 3 has 4 unit, it has only guide. I don't know about it, Sachin. I don't know the syllabus what they have given, but in this book there is Gulliver Travels, there is the guide, and somebody said yesterday only 4 poems and prose for them. I don't know who said like that. Okay, yes, we were discussing about active and passive voice. So keep in mind, subject object place ಬರುತ್ತೆ, object subject place ಬರುತ್ತೆ, and it should end with by or begin with by. By ಇಂದ ಯಾವಾಗ begin ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ WH question ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ by ಇಂದ begin ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Clear? Anything to be asked from your side, you can ask me. So did you get the point, active and passive voice? Anybody who is there in the class? Active and passive voice ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಓಕೆ ರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ. ಸೊ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯು ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್? ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಈಸ್, ಆರ್, ವಾಸ್, ವರ್, ಆಮ್. It's very very important when you are changing from active to passive voice. Either from passive to active, active to passive. It's very very important, B form. Okay. Yes, anything to be asked from your side, you can ask me. Okay. ಸೊ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪ್ಯಾಸಿವ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ದು ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಲುಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಪೇಜ್ ನಂಬರ್ 244. So 243. You can look into the examples there. You can look into the examples 244. The hunter killed the lion. The lion was killed by the hunter. It's very very easy if you understand properly. Active and passive voice is very very easy when you understand it properly. Okay, 244. Yes, Rajeshwari, you can look into it. The snake was killed by the king. So ಈ ತರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಇಂದ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಬೈ ಇಂದ ಶುರು ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಕೀಪ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್. He broke the glass. The glass was broken by him. I threw the bag was thrown by me. The cat ate the mouse was eaten by the cat. So please look into it, active and passive voice. It's very easy if you understand it properly. Okay. You'll be having direct object and indirect object. Direct object ಮತ್ತೆ indirect object ಎರಡು objects ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Keep in mind. If I had time, I could have explained it. Nobody told me about the grammar, huh? And I did not concentrated on your grammar. Yes, Rajeshwari, please refresh your screen. And another important concept is one word substitutes. One word substitutes is also very important. So very important questions on one word substitute is that they will be asking regarding a poem consisting of 14 lines, that is sonnet, a period of 100 years, decade, a period of 100 years, century, a period of 10 years, decade, okay, then a life history of once written by somebody is autobiography. A life history of a life history of him has been written by himself, that is biography. Then lack of rain, drought. Then one who writes poem is called as poet, one who writes novel is called as novelist, one who writes play is called as playist or dramatist. So these are the important things regarding one word substitutes. You can concentrate on it. One who loves his own country, patriot. Okay. One who eats human flesh is called as cannibal. One who goes on a journey to holy place, that is pilgrimage. Medical examination of the dead body, that is postmortem. A man whose wife is dead, widower. One who cannot read and write, this is very important. One who cannot read and write is illiterate. One who is all powerful, omnipotent. One who looks at the brighter side of life, optimist. Yeah, unmarried women, spinster. Yeah, imaginary name used by an author instead of real name, pseudo. Okay. Yes, anything to be asked from your side, you can ask. Okay. Hassan Nawaz. It's page number, I think 257. 257. Okay. So try to prepare by yourself. If you find any difficulty in understanding, you can ask me. You can contact me. I had given my contact number. Okay. Okay, here's some 261. There is some one word substitution you can look into it. The box in which a dead person is buried. The box in which dead person is buried, that is coffin. So you can look into it on page number 261. There are some important points. A child whose parents are dead, orphan. A book published after the death of its author, posthumous. So which are the important? I am concentrating on that. Okay. So these are the important things regarding one word substitutes. You can make a note of this. Please keep in mind active and passive voice, it's very important. Will be there. Idioms also will be there in on the point of examination. Then next to what you have. So please concentrate on all the poems. So that is, you'll be having Unit 1, Unit 3 and Unit 4. Please concentrate on Unit 1, Unit 3 and Unit 4. It's very important. Okay, anything to be asked from your side, you can ask me. Yes, anything to be asked from your side? Okay. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, I'll wind up my class of today's. And it is the last class of mine. If you find any difficulty in understanding anything, you can ask me. You can contact me and you can ask me. If I get to know the question paper pattern, I'll surely tell you. In prose, you should concentrate on two essays, that is half studies and ladies address, and two short story. Okay, in prose, half study is very important. Address also important. You can skip if you are unable to go for ladies address. You can concentrate on two short stories, that is The Necklace, which has lost, the Edgar's Experiment, and yes, Edgar's Experiment also. It's very important. You can concentrate on. So you can skip in Unit 7A. You can go for The Necklace and Lady Address. If you are prepared for that, it's well and good. Off studies is also very important. You are supposed to once go through off studies. Dr. Edgar's Experiment. Okay. Yes. So fiction, concentrate on Raju and Rosie character. Raju and Rosie character. And for short notes, they can ask about Velen, then Marco, Gaffer. Gaffer was a taxi driver. So we should concentrate on all these characters for short notes for 5 marks. Okay. So anything to be asked from your side? Yes. You can skip which is lowest. You can concentrate on The Necklace. Dr. Edgar's Experiment. You can concentrate on Dr. Edgar's Experiment. Extracts from Gulliver Travels, I have not done this, so you can skip it. That's very easy. Gulliver Travels is very easy if you once go through. Whichever is very easy for you, you can go on with that, but you can skip one. I don't know examination, Rajeshwari. Grammar important, all are important, because for 20 marks they will be asking the whole grammar. Expansion of an idea for 5 marks, idioms for 5 marks, active and passive voice for 5 marks, and one word substitutes for 5 marks. If so, for 4 marks, they will give you another one, that is comprehensive. 4 marks ಆದರೆ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, 5 marks ಆದರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್. ಗ್ರಾಮರಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಎಸ್, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್? That's what comprehensive passage. That is what Rajeshwari passage means, comprehension. That is a long passage will be given for and 5 questions. I don't know for you. First, I don't know about maybe for 60 marks, I think so. I don't know exactly. 60 marks for writing, 20 marks for grammar, and 20 marks for assignments and test, I think so. But regarding Open University question paper pattern, I don't know. Okay. Yes, anything to be asked? If not, I'll wind up my class. Nothing? Okay. So I think it is useful. So you learned something. So if anybody finds any difficulty in while reading, you can contact me. So please contact me in the evening. Okay. Because I'll be having classes, please contact me in the evening. Okay. Yes, if you don't have any doubts, I'll wind up my class. Okay, thank you all students. We'll meet you. Bye, ma'am. Have a nice day. Okay, thank you. So, yes. Okay, bye. Have a nice day. Please try to prepare for the examination from now itself. Don't keep it for the last day of the examination and don't suffer. If you are finding any difficulties, you can contact me. I'll help you. Okay. Okay. So from this day, start reading from the beginning what we have done. So make a note of it, what you are finding difficulty, and you can ask me. Okay. So please read. When you won't read, you won't understand anything. If you read, it is very very easy. ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದು ಸುಲಭ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಆದರೆ ನೀವು ಓದಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಬರೆದು ಕಲಿಬೇಕು. I know some are working. Please utilize the time and try to cover the portions for the examination. ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪೋಯಮು, ಒಂದೊಂದು ಲೆಸನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸ್ನ ನೀವು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್. I think hardly you can spend half an hour to study the poems. So if you concentrate, if you have listened my class carefully, if you concentrate, you can easily complete up by half an hour. Okay. Yes. If anybody is very when you find very difficulty in learning also, it may extend till 1 hour, not more than that. Okay. Okay, thank you all students. Bye, take care, have a nice day. So all the best for your examination. Thank you all. Once again, I thank one and all who have present here. Thank you all. Okay. Okay, you're most welcome, Likit, Darshan, Jennifer. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay. Rajeshwari, you're most welcome. Sangeeta, you're most welcome. Lasya, you're most welcome. Okay, I'm winding up my class. Thank you. Bye.